I found my husband's phone and saw, "I can't wait to see you tonight." I asked him who it was from. He just smirked. This morning, his sister texted me, "You're overreacting." I'm using a throwaway account since my husband and in-laws follow my main. I'm a 29-year-old woman, and I've been married to my husband, Alex, 30M, for 7 months. We met during our freshman year of college, started as friends, and eventually got married. While I've always gotten along with his family, we're not particularly close, just cordial. Lately, however, Alex's behavior has become deeply unsettling. At first, he started asking harmless questions whenever I went out: who I was meeting, where I was going, what we planned to do, and how long I'd be gone. I initially thought he was just being protective, a responsible partner wanting to ensure my safety. But then, he started checking my phone after every outing, researching and scrutinizing each of my friends. Things escalated further when he began pressuring me to merge our bank accounts, insisting that he should be in charge of the finances, even though he was completely fine with keeping them separate before. We've been arguing about it almost every day. The final straw came yesterday. As he was preparing for a 2-week work trip to California, he demanded that I wear a tracker so he could monitor me while he was away. That was the moment I realized, I can't do this anymore. I feel suffocated. I tried speaking to his family about his concerning behavior, but they brushed it off, insisting that he's just being a caring and protective husband. I know better. This isn't normal. I need to leave before he gets back, and I need to do it without raising any alarms. He has always said that if he ever caught me cheating, he'd file for divorce immediately. He even keeps a pre-filled set of divorce papers in his desk. Well, I plan to submit those the day I leave. The challenge now is figuring out the logistics, finding a new place to live, checking if my job offers any transfer opportunities, packing, and moving, all within 2 weeks. His return flight is scheduled for May 11th, so I have to act fast. I don't have close family to turn to, and I can't involve our mutual friends without risking exposure. So, I'm reaching out here, hoping for advice on the safest and most efficient way to do this. Any help would be greatly appreciated. Edit: Oh my god, you guys are amazing. I never even thought to not use his divorce papers. I'll check for cameras before I start any packing or prepping. I may also shred his divorce papers just in case and look into getting a lawyer for myself. I'm in a no-fault divorce state, that much I so remember, which will help. I'll update again when I know more. The tracker he wants me to use is a small clip to put on the belt or waistband. I'll wear it unless I'm going or doing something related to me leaving. No pets yet, thankfully. Update: I've received a lot of support, helpful advice, and questions, so I want to clarify a few things before sharing an update. Some people have asked why I would hide things from Alex regarding where I go and who I meet. To be clear, I haven't hidden anything. I have nothing to hide. The problem is that he doesn't just ask, he verifies everything with the people I was with, down to who I spoke to and what I said. He checks if I sent any texts, whether I ordered food, and even how much I ate. At first, it wasn't so extreme, but over time, it escalated to the point where I felt completely cornered. Thankfully, my in-laws mostly follow Reddit communities related to gardening and DIY projects, so the chances of them seeing this are low. And even if they do, I hope to be gone by then. I spoke with my manager at work and explained the situation. They're looking into possible job openings in other states, and I should have an update in 3 days. My bank account is secure. Alex has tried to access it before and failed. While going through the house, I found hidden cameras, one in the kitchen, another in the living room, and one in our bedroom. I've left them untouched for now to avoid suspicion, but I've done all my planning privately in the bathroom, pretending to take a bath. I'm avoiding domestic violence services because my sister-in-law holds a high position there due to her volunteer work. If I reached out to them, she would likely find out almost immediately. I also can't start looking for apartments until my job confirms where they can relocate me, but regardless, I'm leaving the state. The day before I go, I'll switch my phone carrier, wipe my laptop, and erase data from all of Alex's devices as well. I've consulted 2 lawyers about the divorce papers Alex had already prepared. Both of them pointed out clauses that could have caused me legal trouble in the future. What was most alarming was that several clauses referenced future children, not hypothetically, but as if he had already planned for it. Like many have suggested, I strongly suspect he intended to trap me with a pregnancy. My job has 3 potential relocation options, so I've started researching housing in all 3 areas as a precaution. If they can't transfer me, I'll quit, move on my own, and figure things out. I have enough savings to get by for a few months while I look for another job. Unfortunately, all of our friends are mutual, and I can't risk them unknowingly saying something that would get back to Alex. I have no surviving close family, and my in-laws are obviously not an option. So, I'm doing this completely on my own, aside from the amazing support I've found here. I'll update again if anything changes or once my job gets back to me. Either way, I plan to leave before Alex returns to make sure I'm long gone when he gets back. Update. Great news. My job has an open position that I qualify for, which will move me across the country and comes with a salary increase. To avoid suspicion, I've started telling my in-laws and friends that I'm planning a surprise outing for Alex when he returns. This way, if people see me running errands or making preparations, they won't question it. I've even asked my MIL to teach me his favorite recipes to make it seem more convincing. I also found a small moving company that is willing to work in severe weather. In 5 days, a large storm is expected to hit, which works in my favor. As suggested by several people here, I plan to shut off the breaker and tell Alex that the power went out if he asks. I'll even send him a short video of the storm as proof. All of my belongings will be moved that afternoon, and I'll fly out as soon as the weather clears. I've hired a lawyer to handle my divorce, and all necessary paperwork has been filed so I don't have to be present for it. I'm not seeking assets or alimony, and I've shredded the divorce papers Alex had prepared. For communication, I've set up a temporary, prepaid phone plan with Cricket. Once everything is settled, I'll get a new carrier, number, and phone. My current phone will be wiped and left behind. Since my laptop is provided by work, their IT department checked it for any tracking software, and thankfully, it was clean. The only electronics I'm taking with me are my work laptop and my new phone. If Alex wants to contact me, he'll have to go through my lawyer. Fingers crossed that he doesn't suspect anything until I'm already gone. I won't be turning the power back on when I leave, he can deal with that when he gets home. At least I don't have to worry about the plane ticket, as my company is covering that cost. Update. It's been a hectic week, but I've made a lot of progress. First and foremost, I've officially left the house and am staying in a hotel while I search for an apartment. The city is busy and full of life, with people everywhere, which oddly makes me feel a little safer. Back home, a major storm system hit, lasting 2 full days with high winds, thunder, lightning, and even hail. I didn't take much from the house, just my important documents, clothes, and sentimental belongings. I left all the furniture and electronics behind. Before leaving, I cleaned the entire house thoroughly and took pictures as proof to prevent any false claims that I damaged anything. The divorce process is already underway, and my husband will be served on the 8th. His flight lands early that morning, and the sheriff will be waiting for him at the house. Since he values his public image, my lawyer will also be calling him to make it clear that if he tries to fight this, I won't hesitate to expose everything. I'll go to court for as long as necessary to finalize this. I haven't told our friends or his family yet, but I plan to do so while he's mid-flight to prevent him from interfering before he gets served. I want to get ahead of any lies or manipulation. He's the type to twist the narrative, and I don't want him claiming I was unfaithful or making it seem like this is my fault. As for me, I'm okay. Exhausted, but also restless and on edge. I keep catching myself looking over my shoulder and monitoring what I say, even though I don't need to anymore. Hopefully, that will pass with time. My job is covering the hotel costs, which helps, and I'm working on getting everything else in order. One of my next steps is finding a new doctor for a full checkup, just for peace of mind. I'm not sure when I'll update again, probably once the divorce papers are officially filed or if I need to go to court to push things through. I really thought that once I left the house, things would feel easier. While the fear has lessened, the sheer number of things I have to do has only grown. It feels like I'm caught in a whirlwind, but I'm doing my best to stay focused and keep moving forward. Update. Sorry for the lack of updates, things have been pretty hectic and chaotic. I'm still in the process of securing an apartment and have applications submitted at 3 different places. Hopefully, I'll hear back soon. In the meantime, I'm still working at my new location, which means I don't have to rely entirely on my emergency savings. I've received a flood of emails from Alex, his family, and our old friend group, all filled with endless questions. I only responded to Alex once, making it clear that I don't believe we are truly compatible and that separating now is for the best. I also told him that his treatment of me, despite me doing nothing to deserve it, was just as much of a deal-breaker as infidelity was for him. I ended the email by stating that I would not be contacting him again, and from now on, any necessary communication would go through my lawyer. For his family and friends, I sent a single email explaining everything that led to my decision to leave. I wished them no ill will but made it clear that the way they enabled his treatment of me was unacceptable. I also added that if Alex ever remarries, I hope they will support both partners, not just him. According to my lawyer, Alex was absolutely furious when he was served. He lost his temper so badly that he ended up assaulting an officer and making threats, leading to his arrest for menacing. His father bailed him out within a few hours, but given the sheriff's testimony, my lawyer believes I have a strong case for a restraining order. After returning home, Alex's rage continued. He smashed the dining table, destroyed the TV, and punched multiple holes in the walls. A friend of ours, who Alex called for help cleaning up the mess, later emailed me about it. Apparently, Alex even tried to claim that I had trashed the house, but given that the holes were at head height, and he's 6 feet 3 inches while I'm only 5 feet 4 inches, that accusation didn't hold up. Thankfully, I took pictures of the house before leaving, with timestamps proving it was intact when I left, so his claims won't stand. I never would have thought to do that without the advice I received, so I'm incredibly grateful. As for my location, my workplace values client confidentiality, so no one will be able to track me down through them. And just to clarify, since some people seem to have the wrong idea, I'm not involved in anything shady. I work in contracts, notary services, and business management, not as a stripper or escort. Even if Alex tried to use my job to find me, he'd get nowhere. Update. It's been a little while, so I wanted to address some questions before giving my update. After this, it might be some time before anything significant changes. First, no, I didn't bring my car. The public transportation here is reliable enough that I don't need one. I've officially secured an apartment, and the building has solid security measures in place. Entry requires a key card, and there's a security guard stationed at the front desk. As part of my lease agreement, I provided photos of Alex and his family to ensure that if they ever try to find me, they won't be allowed in. Reactions to my emails have been mixed. His family believes I'm overreacting and insists that I owe Alex an apology for the trouble this has caused him. Since he's now facing criminal charges, a conviction could put his job at risk. Alex himself sent a long email apologizing and begging me to come back. He claims he's worried about me, that he's willing to go to therapy if it will make me stay, and that leaving was an extreme reaction to what he sees as his genuine concern for my well-being. As for our friends, their responses were lukewarm at best. Most of them said they never believed Alex would actually hurt me and implied that I was letting my imagination get the better of me. As disappointing as it is, I can't say I'm surprised. Alex plans to contest the divorce, but I'm letting my lawyer handle everything. I'm also pursuing a protective order. Now that my apartment is secured, I've taken extra precautions. I froze my credit, changed my phone carrier and number, and made sure none of my documents list Alex as my next of kin or power of attorney. Some people have asked why I've been so cautious about Alex and what he might do. The answer is simple: my grandmother. I adored her, and as a teenager, she told me why my grandfather was never in the picture. He was abusive and manipulative, but in her time, divorce wasn't really an option. She couldn't have afforded a home or a stable job to support herself and my mother alone, so she endured it until he passed. She did everything she could to protect my mom, but she always said she wished she had seen him for who he really was earlier, when an annulment might have been possible. I've carried that lesson with me, and it's a big part of why I refuse to second-guess myself now. I'm not sure when I'll have another update, maybe when the divorce is finalized or if something significant happens. Until then, I'm just trying to keep my head above water. Update. It's been a month since my last update, so I wanted to share what's been happening. The divorce is moving forward, but since Alex refuses to agree, I have to go through the courts for approval. Even though I'm not claiming any property, alimony, or compensation, I just want a clean break. It could still take up to 6 months to finalize. Alex has been trying to bypass my lawyer by using our mutual friends to reach out. He refuses to communicate through legal channels, calling it disrespectful and cowardly for me to hide behind my lawyer instead of meeting him face to face. He did pass a letter to my lawyer, but instead of an apology, it was full of justifications. He claimed that, in today's world, it's dangerous for women to be on their own, which is why he was so determined to keep me safe. He insisted that his actions were out of concern for me and that he was hurt by my decision to leave without discussing my feelings or dissatisfaction with our marriage. I didn't respond because, at no point, did he take responsibility or express genuine remorse. Instead, he framed me as overly dramatic, emotional, and cowardly. Along with his letter, my sister-in-law, Sil, also sent one. Hers was disturbing and only reinforced my doubts about ever trusting her in a professional capacity. She spent 5 paragraphs describing what real abuse looks like, focusing on financial and physical abuse, none of which applied to Alex. According to her, he was the furthest thing from abusive, and my actions were an attempt to smear his name for attention and clout, making me the abuser. I haven't fully processed that yet. A part of me wonders if she's right. I mean, I did leave suddenly and refused to talk to him now. Am I being unfair? My former boss suggested I look into therapy after I moved, and I think he was right. Adjusting to being on my own has been difficult. I keep second-guessing myself. I haven't even gone out to eat yet because I get anxious about someone seeing me or spending money on something unnecessary. For now, my lawyer is continuing to push forward with the divorce. I won't have to appear in court physically. Any necessary meetings with the judge can be done via Zoom. I'm trying to avoid confrontation with Alex and his family as much as possible, and I passed both letters to my lawyer in case they're needed. As for our mutual friends, they're still trying to stay neutral. Honestly, I'm reaching the point where I'm ready to let them go. I'm exhausted from trying to make them understand. I'm not sure when I'll update again, probably mid-November, depending on how long the divorce takes. Work is going well, which has been a lifesaver. Having something familiar in my daily routine has helped me stay grounded while everything else is changing. Update. It's been a while since my last update, as I had to let the court handle things since Alex refused to agree to the divorce. We started with mediated sessions via Zoom, but after 4 sessions, it was clear that no compromise could be reached. The things Alex demanded were completely out of the question. He wanted me to tell our friends and those I had informed about his actions that I had made everything up for sympathy. He also wanted financial compensation for defamation and emotional distress, including the wages he lost from spending 2 days in jail before making bail. On top of that, he expected me to return to him and, in his words, stop my foolish behavior and act like a proper wife and partner. Yeah, that wasn't happening. Unsurprisingly, mediation was a complete failure. Thankfully, the judge didn't buy into Alex's act, though he certainly tried. It took me far too long to see Alex for who he really was, and part of me still feels foolish for not recognizing it sooner. Yet, within the first meeting, the judge seemed to see right through him. Maybe I just didn't want to see it, I don't know. Alex argued with the judge constantly, even getting held in contempt 4 times. I think that's part of the reason things moved as quickly as they did. His attempt to bring in his family as character witnesses also failed, as the judge dismissed their testimonies, stating that since they hadn't directly witnessed or experienced the abuse, they only knew one side of him. When the judge approved the divorce, he didn't hold back in his closing remarks, calling Alex a narcissist and sarcastically suggesting that if he loved himself so much that he was willing to abuse his spouse, he should just marry a mirror next. I didn't think a judge could say something like that, but my lawyer just shook his head and advised me not to react, so we left. So here's the update I know many of you were hoping for. I'm officially divorced. The paperwork was finalized 3 days ago, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. I have no contact with Alex and want to keep it that way. I won't be giving our old friends my new contact information either. I may not have responded to every message, but I read them all. Your repeated reminders that they weren't real friends helped me see the truth, and I've decided to start fresh, new home, new city, new friends. It's a slow process, but I've started therapy, even though it took nearly 3 months to get in due to long wait times. I've been going 3 times a week since, and it's helping, especially with things I thought I had already dealt with. According to my lawyer, Alex didn't take the divorce well. He did something at work, no idea what, since I have no way of knowing, but whatever it was, it cost him his job. My lawyer also did something unexpected, but something I think many of you will appreciate. He forwarded my ex-SIL's letter to the domestic violence organization she worked for, along with a formal statement about Alex, his actions, and the judge's ruling. As a result, she was let go, and since those organizations are closely connected, my lawyer believes her chances of getting another job in the field are slim to none. When he told me that, I actually laughed, though I got teary when he added, "Slim is on a leaky rowboat to China." I've been crying a lot lately, but my therapist says it's a good thing. It means I'm finally processing everything instead of burying it. I'll try to update in a month or so, once my emotions settle a bit, and share more details. But for now, I just wanted to get this out there and thank everyone for their continued support. I appreciate each and every one of you. You helped me believe that leaving Alex wouldn't be some irreversible mistake or a black mark I could never recover from. Work is going well, and the stability of having a routine is helping me feel more in control of my life while everything else is still settling.